Hi guys, so our lamps and our garage door have finally arrived, which is super awesome. We're very excited. We will try to install everything this weekend. We're also planning to start working on our working bench. Those are the top shelves. We have to come up with a nice design, repaint everything, and install it when it's dry. Some stuff has happened off camera too. While I was working on our construction drawings for a building permit, Bjorn bought some building materials and started working on the middle wall here. We realized that we need to build the middle wall almost all the way to the right here. We're gonna leave a little entrance so we can go back and forth, mostly because we want that part of the building to be dust proof when we start working on the Laplander, sanding it and cutting out all the rust. And we're also planning to start building the apartment on the right as soon as possible too. It's kind of gonna be happening at the same time a little bit, but it's just the way it is. And we also realized that we have to paint, since we're gonna build the middle wall here, we might as well paint the floor and the ceiling as well, all the way to the wall, because why not? It's gonna be so much nicer in here. When we first started working here, it used to smell like an old workshop. The floor doesn't smell that nice, and now once it's painted, it's just such a different feeling to be here. But yeah, a lot to do, so let's begin. The kitchen cabinets we'll be using in the workshop Bjorn obtained at one of his former jobs. The customer decided to change her kitchen and allowed us to pick it up and reuse it instead of throwing it away.
Let's take a look at the lamps. Very thin. It's a Dutch company who makes these. They're very nice. We already have one in our tiny workshop that we have now, so we know they're good. It's the daylight version. As you can see there, 6500K. They're 36 watts and produce 3800 lumen each. And they're very light. And they're already a tiny bit diffused when you put them up, which is good. They're very cheap if you order them online compared to regular LEDs, but they are still very good quality, we think.
Here is more or less how we're going to do the bank. The workshop bank is going to be almost 5 meters for 46. 465. We have a tiny workbench now in the basement where we live, and it's just never enough. So we figured, why not make it very long? But first we're going to build the base to raise it a little bit, so it's working heights, will be more comfortable. Yeah, and we're thinking of maybe building a couple of shelves there. We'll see. And we're going to put up a few of these, yeah. Because why not? We have them. We have two boxes like that, two shelves like that. Can't we have them on the same level as the scope?
That's too low. I want to be able to fit anything on a working bench.
Yeah, and we realized that we forgot to tell. We're probably going to build this wall here at once, because the kitchen is coming here, and the door to the outside is going to be there. We're planning to do that before we move into the bus again, because it will be so much easier to just go out there, get to the garage and get all the supplies we need. And we're going to install a few kitchen cabinets and appliances before we move in here, so we can take water from here while we're working on the apartments and the Laplander. But we're kind of looking forward to it. It's gonna be nice to live in the bus again, actually.
So we started with preparing the base for the cabinets to raise the bench to a proper working height. Since these cabinets are a bit old, they are shorter than today's standard, so that's why we had to make the base so high. We decided to mount the wall cabinets as well, to get some extra storage space. Luckily we had 2 such cabinets, so that the space looks a bit more symmetrical. Since this is a little bit of an economic quick fix, we decided to make the countertop out of 12mm plywood. Instead of, for example, there's like oak countertops you can put on, but for this length it would be around 500 euros or something. It's quite expensive in Sweden. And now since we chose plywood, we just took one sheet, split it in the middle, and we have our countertop for maybe 65 euros. And for the framing, we reinforced it a little bit since it's thinner, it's 12mm. So it will handle us working on it and weight, so it's solid even though it's just 12mm. And the framing we actually made from all of the extra wood we got from the packaging of the garage door, all the framing for it, so it was almost for free. The reason we decided to leave the plywood untreated is because you can always sand it and it will look like new again. Also, we like the way it looks untreated.
The next step was to sand and paint all the shelves and the cabinet doors, and we also decided to change the handles to get a little bit more modern look. For the cabinets, we got special furniture paint and the cheapest paint gun at a local store called Beelzebus. It worked pretty well, but started leaking after a few uses, so we wouldn't recommend using it for bigger projects. The doors and the shelves needed 2 coats of paint, so we let them dry in the only room we had the heat on. The drying station.
I'm not dry, not anymore.
We also decided to see if we could scavenge and reuse any furniture that was left in the building. We thought that these old shelves left by the former tenant would fit perfectly between the wall cabinets in our workshop.
The workbench is coming along nicely, we're almost done, it's just a few details left to take care of. And whilst we were doing that, we figured out that we might as well finish these 2 walls. There's going to be a short wall here, coming right where the workbench ends, so all the sparks and stuff that we work on the bench ain't gonna fly all over our stuff. And behind it we're gonna put some shelves with our things for the build. And behind that we have the middle wall that separates the garage from the apartment build. And we also want to put that one up and finish it so that all the dust stays in the garage part and that we can build the apartment build without everything getting covered in dust all the time. So let's start with the wall that is closest to the workbench. The process is the same as what we showed on the last video. I put up the wooden studs and clad them with OSB sheets. This wall will remain open on the other side for now, since we still have to run plumbing and electricity for the kitchen in that wall. It is lucky that this wall ended up being so close to the workbench according to our apartment layout. It fits in the workshop naturally, it will serve as a separation from the rest of the garage area and we don't need to move it when the apartment build starts. And of course, the wall was painted black to fit the rest of the workshop. After a few days of painting and drying, it was time to mount the new handles. We chose black handles so that they would highlight the grey color of the cabinets. It is such a small detail, but we were very happy with the result. We thought the handles made all the difference.
We know that some people didn't understand why I decided to use such dark colors in the workshop, but personally we are very happy with how it's turning out. This is exactly how we imagined our workshop and we feel very excited about it. We also wanted the workshop to kind of double as a studio for Laplander renovation videos, and we think that dark colors look very neat and clean as a background.
And finally, it is time to install the lights. Since we were going to make a new ceiling for the apartment on top of this one, we decided to save some time and mount the lamps directly to the ceiling and left the cables visible.
Some other things we scavenged were this old shelf and a coat hanger that we also sanded and painted grey to fit with the rest of the workshop. It is nice to be able to repurpose old stuff instead of throwing it away. Just a little bit of color makes a huge difference. We think it turned out great.
And here is how the workshop used to look like. And here's how it looks now, even though we're not really done yet.